What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to Sharp Edge News TV. Do me a favor, hit like button, share, subscribe, follow everywhere on social media. Help us share. Thank you so much for being here today. Today we have some interesting stories around the world. We're going to be talking about Sam Ekpa. We're going to talk about, of course, Trump. We're going to talk about SEYI TINUBU, and I think we might be talking about Davido today as well. And I think we're also talking about Adenuga, the Mac Adenuga of Glow. So, yes, we do have a fantastic show lined up for you today. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to meet a powerhouse who wears not one but two extraordinary crowns of distinction. On one side is the publisher and editor in chief of SharpEdgeNews.com, delivering cutting edge journalism with unmatched precision. On the other hand, he stands tall as the High Chief Odokwetu of Ayedi Ogbese in Akure North, local government Ondo State. Yes, he's not just shaping headlines, he's shaping traditions and leading with purpose. Whether it's the newsroom or the royal arena, he's always a step ahead. Let's give a resounding welcome to the one and only High Chief Oladimeji. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Ola. So good to be back. And then appreciation to the um, vast audience that we have the world over. We want to appreciate them, and we want to say in the spirit of the season, happy Thanksgiving holiday in America, come Thursday, and then we also say Merry Christmas in advance. And when the new year comes, we will say Happy New Year. Thank you again for being part of what we do. And without any delay, may we launch into our special for today, which is the heel motivated trafficking in misinformation and disinformation. Allah, I yield.
Okay, I think we should just go ahead and go towards the story. I guess there was some oaks this week about.
Yeah, the rumored passing of Nigeria's industrial and financial mogul, Dr. Mike Adenuga. Of course, people can trigger so much humor, but the type that touches on mobility, how can anybody just imagine that the next thing to speculate about is the death of somebody who is in sound health? And if the person is not even in sound health, is this something that anybody should want to toy away with? Elsewhere, that is something that could have spintailed Nigeria's economy, fragile as it is, its fundamentals so weak at the moment, and somebody toying with the idea that this industrial giant, this man of immense goodwill and philanthropic gesture all over the world, not just in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but all over the world, that such a man, who took a bet on what Nigerians thought would be impossible. Remember at the beginning of the talk about GSM, global satellite mobile phones or telephony in those days. It used to be an exclusive affair for foreign investors, but this is one Nigerian who decided to take a swim in the shark-infested troubled waters of Nigeria's economy, and he has done very well. And for somebody to want to throw the I mean, to want to bring trouble to Nigeria at this time, speculating about the death of such a person. I mean, all of us are mortal. It's not as if we would not die when our time comes. But then, why should we try and speculate about what has not come yet? So I'm not going to dwell too much about that. I know a song came out in the wake of the rumored death of Chief Dr. Mike Adenuga, the Juju maestro himself, Professor Ebenezer Obey, was quick to release a fast one to dispel that rumor. You know, I mean, the antecedents of Nigerian musicians, especially the Juju, Fuji types of music in Nigeria, how they can be educative while also entertaining. So a teachable moment right there from Professor Ebenezer Obey, an evangelist, and
He's a professor.
He's a professor of music somewhere. Of course, you know, he's so original about what he has contributed to the development, to the evolution of a Juju music brand in Nigeria. So he quickly released the one to dispel that kind of evil rumor. But the lesson to be learned from this is one thing. All of us, or majority of us, are concerned that government is most guilty of fakery when it comes to news production and dissemination. And they often garnish it as propaganda. And when people push this narrative about, the citizens are most guilty of this, we say no, government is often the most guilty. But they have been trying to sponsor all kinds of bills to criminalize the use of social media and trying to push back on the democratization of a media space. We are saying no to this, but when mysterious characters and people who do things without identifiable or what you would describe as any useful purpose, when they try to seize the hallowed grounds of the media and then they try to wreak havoc this way, it calls for concern. That does not mean that we will shift in our advocacy that nobody should do anything to promulgate, enact, write laws that would criminalize the use of social media in places like Nigeria, because to do that would be a direct invitation to despotism and overbearing crackdown on the media. You cannot stop something that is no longer within the confines of a traditional known media. So that said, I don't want to waste too much time. We wish Dr. Mike Adenuga long life, and we say that to everybody who has risen up, particularly Bob D. Egbon Dele Momodu was the first person to break to debunk the whole thing yesterday, saying that he had spoken with Dr. Mike Adenuga and that he was in good health. And I've seen the works of people like Dr. Ruben Abati and many journalists all over Nigeria. That is not going to be an excuse for the Nigerian government to start getting jittery and then want to crack down on the use of social media. This is just what we have to say in our special report this week. And there are so many events trending all over the place. But let us deal specifically with this issue. I do not like talking of fake news because you know the originator of that he himself is often the most guilty when it comes to peddling and pushing fakery in the name of news. And we won't go there. We just want to wish everybody well, particularly Mr. Donald Trump. We will not do anything that would that would want to be a kind of bump on the ride that we expect from him. Whether it will be bumpy or smooth, that is entirely his business. But when it comes to fake news thing, we love to be in sound mental health, and we don't want anybody messing with our psyche. That said, let us launch to other issues of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. There you have the Sharp Edge News special report of this week. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow everywhere, follow on Facebook. Get us up to 100 followers on Facebook. All right. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. We have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So the first story that we have today is about some EKPA. We have a special. I don't know. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Is it EKPA or EKPA? Abi EKPA Denny. What is going
on? Well, I wouldn't know the proper pronunciation, but I've had people pronounce it as Sam EKPA.
Okay, so, either way.
Our apologies if we do not get it right.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, so there's a special report here on Punch News Nigeria, and I'm going to read that. Then I would like to learn a little bit more about this particular character today. EKPA's arrest, critical step against globalized terrorism. And the recent arrest of Simon, it's not Samuel, it's Simon EKPA. Yeah, a Finnish Nigerian, Finnish as in not Finnish though, as in like
from Finland. Originally born in Nigeria, but naturalized into the citizenship of Finland.
Got it. All right. So a Finnish Nigerian separatist leader and self-proclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile marks a significant milestone in the fight against transnational terrorism. Finnish authorities detained EKPA and 4 others on allegations of inciting crimes with terrorist intent and financing terrorism. The charges stem from EKPA's role in orchestrating violence in Southeast Nigeria from his base in Finland, primarily through incendiary social media campaigns. EKPA's activities have long been a source of contention. As a prominent figure in the separatist indigenous people of Biafra, he has championed the call for an independent Biafran state in Nigeria. His rhetoric escalated in recent years with explicit endorsement of violence. Finnish authorities have linked EKPA to coordinated attacks targeting civilians and government forces, with investigations tracing some of these activities back to 2021. So I have a question for you. First of all, who is Simon EKPA, and what is his relationship to Nnamdi Kanu?
Okay.
And what happened? Why are we talking about him today?
Well, I cannot pretend to have a know-it-all situation about the structure and the operations of
IPOB.
The IPOB organization, Independent People of Biafra, so to say, IPOB. You will remember that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu himself, the original convener of IPOB,
Mm-hmm.
He used to live in the United Kingdom, and I can confirm to you firsthand that the campaign that was initiated by Mr. Nnamdi Kanu had sympathies all over the world. At least I have visited with a lawyer in Kansas City, somewhere in Kansas City here, and in his office, I could see the flag of the United States, I could see the flag of Nigeria, and I could see the flag of Biafra. That if in Atlant, as far as Kansas City, whether the Missouri side or Kansas City, Kansas side, as far as this city, this greater Kansas City is from Nigeria, such sympathies are deep-seated with some people here. So the point I'm making is that, yes, anybody may want to pretend that this is some movement by certain elements that Nigeria would love to describe as disgruntled in the usual official cliche of the government of Nigeria. Mm-hmm. They have people who are really convinced that there have been issues of real marginalization. And concerning the relationship between EKPA and Nnamdi Kanu, my findings show that, yes, EKPA was a disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, but to the extent that
it was no longer. It was.
We would not say. I mean, there may be attempts made by certain elements to dissociate themselves from the brand of self-rule or self-determination for people of Igbo extraction, because really, what is known as Biafra is a word that was formed out of Igbo word Bia, come, and then Fra from Efik Ibibio thing. So what used to be eastern region of Nigeria at the peak of the Nigerian Civil War was balkanized, was further broken into several states like its central and so on and so forth, so that they could weaken the hold of the authorities that were seated in Enugu, at some point Uzuka, and then later maybe Okigwe or the capital of Biafra moved around severally with the pushback from Nigerian federal troops in those days. So ultimately, in order to downsize, the government of Nigeria actually played ethnic card. And remember accusations against the leader of the Biafran consciousness then, General, Nigerian government said Lieutenant Colonel, but later I think it was restored to full military honors alongside the later General Philip Effiong. These were people that Nigerian side referred to as colonels within the Nigerian army. But the point we're making here is that there were allegations that sub-nationalities that identified with the Biafran cause were actually oppressed under the leadership of the Central Biafran Authority. So the government of Nigeria was able to play up that card that if Biafra had succeeded, then it would have been massive oppression and repression for the other ethnic nationalities within that defunct Eastern region's expression, or the geographical expression that was then known. So the problem of the larger Nigerian society distrust between the federating units and ethnic nationalities was also at play within the defunct Biafra Republic. So I went that historical lane to let you know that the expression Biafra may not really apply anymore. But what the government of Nigeria should have been focusing more on would be the stated objective of 3 hours after the Nigerian Civil War. That is rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reconciliation. The 3 hours of reconciliation, reconstruction, rehabilitation. That was not done. Even after the country, the warring factions, the warring side said they had ceased the fire, that the war had stopped. The peace that came was poorly managed. And so today, the people of Eastern Nigeria, that is, people that you would identify as original Biafran dreamers, they feel like they are marginalized within Nigeria. And it's so difficult for people to shift in the arrangement that should include every geopolitical zones, probably 6 now, or more than that, or all the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Make sure that nobody is sidelined, everybody is carried along. Each time the Igbo person, a Nigerian for that matter, but of Igbo extraction, wants to aspire to the Nigerian presidency, you see all kinds of forces, all kinds of resistance. And the latest such situation, such drama, was the instance in which Mr. Peter Obi became the flag bearer for the Labour Party. And you saw what happened, the ethnic sentiments that were pushed in places like Lagos and elsewhere. Vis-a-vis, in some places in Igbo land too. So distrust is everywhere in Nigeria. So if all these things got people like Nnamdi Kanu and later Simon Ekpa agitated, and they're calling for a sovereign Eastern region, because I don't also want to go there. Because
sorry, sorry to interject there, right? I have one question for you in about 60 seconds. But this title says major blow to global terrorism network. Is that do you think that's an exaggeration?
It's hyperbolic. It's grossly exaggerated, because in truth, and I'm being careful here, the people that have been accused of terrorism, they themselves claim that they are agitating for self-determination under international law, international protocol. As far as I know, agitation for self-determination cannot be the same thing as terrorism.
Okay.
And we need to be very careful how we put tags, how we brand each other in Nigeria. The fact that they do not agree with us today do not agree with the rest of Nigerian nation today, does not make them permanent foes or enemies. So I've seen the attempt to conduct media trial, the excitement on people, on the side of certain people who pretend to speak for the government. And I shake my head. It's so ridiculous today in Nigeria that you say anything seems to be will be pinned on you. Look at the ridiculous misadventure by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, just because the former Nigerian president and one-time military head of state, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, spoke at Yale University and describing whatever is going on in Nigeria and the way certain judges have been compromised. These are true. These claims are true, that everybody knows.
Okay.
Jimoh Ibrahim said Obasanjo was guilty of a mutiny. The same way, already people in the media are finding Simon Ekpa guilty. And remember, if Nigeria is asking for the extradition of Simon Ekpa to come to Nigeria for trial and all that, it's not going to be a smooth sail, because Nigeria has no such protocol with Finland. And then everything will go on trial, and even if that exists, Nigeria must be able to convince the international community, particularly the government of Finland, that Simon Ekpa, whenever is allowed to be extradited to Nigeria, would have fair trial.
Okay.
And from the antecedents concerning human rights breaches, it doesn't look like Finland will be in a hurry to want to extradite, to want to allow his own citizens to go back to Nigeria to face that kind of trial. So nobody should conclude on that note that, oh, this is a blow to terrorism financing. And so this excitement on the arrest of Simon Ekpa, why is there no such excitement about the arrest of people who are behind banditry, terrorism up north? In spite of, we are not hearing from Mr. Tukano anymore.
Let's leave that question, that last question you just asked. Let's leave it so that everybody else in the comments can join the conversation.
Thank you.
Kind of run out of time there. Yeah, that if you want to ask a question one more time, sir. Why is it that that they're not asking the same question about, you were saying the last question
about people who are behind banditry, kidnapping, what's it called? Boko Haram, terrorism elsewhere, and all kinds of terror being visited on Nigeria every day.
Yeah, right. That's a good question. Let's join the conversation in the comment section, please.
So people should comment, do they see this as outright terrorism or agitation for self-determination on the part of people from southeastern Nigeria, or they are even asking for a stop to further marginalization of that political zone?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, hit the like button, follow, subscribe, share everywhere. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have some other trendy stories. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Sharp Edge News TV. We have another story here. Let's see. Let's talk about Trump. We got to stay up to date with Trump, right? Because now he's the president-elect of the United States of America. It's going to be his second administration. Determined him, I guess, pronounced him the greatest comeback of all time. So, but what's happening today? The judge drops Trump charges. Huge legal twist. According to a report on FoxNews.com, your favorite news channel. I'm kidding.
That's being sarcastic, there.
The judge grants Jack Smith request to dismiss January 6 charges against Trump. Appeal dropped in Florida. Doc's case. Trump says lawfare against him was a political hijacking, but says he persevered against all odds and won. A judge has dropped the charges against President-elect Donald Trump in the D.C. case against him, following a request that Special Counsel Jack Smith made on Monday. The decision concerns the investigation into the January 6 U.S. Capitol breach. Fox News Digital previously learned of Smith's request earlier on Monday. And I quote, "The government has moved to dismiss the superseding indictment without prejudice," U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan wrote in the decision. Defendant does not oppose the motion and the court will grant it. Smith also filed a motion to drop his appeal.
Isn't that funny? So they would expect the defendant to oppose a matter in which a government is standing down.
Yeah. What kind of reflection are you having now? Some few months ago,
instead of gloating about this or windsurfing about it, I think Mr. Donald Trump should just thank Joe Biden's administration for operating with utmost decency. Oh yes, because if it's about what Trump's unpicked conservative Supreme Court justices It is about what they had foisted on this country, on how a president could operate with impunity and all that, and then turning everything so academic and argumentative as to whether the president could act in breach of his oath of office, and so on and so forth. If this were about that, if Joe Biden had wanted to be virtuous, if he had wanted to swing against well-known tradition and institutionalization of democracy and rule of law, all that we are saying now would have stopped so much crossfire politically in this country. So he has to thank the outgoing administration for initiating that withdrawal process. And you would understand that it is possible. You know, I do not back this with facts, but when you see people who operate with decency, decent political leaders, it is not impossible, and it will not be out of place to think that the prosecutor, the independent prosecutor in this matter, probably was acting according to advice that came from the highest level in the land. So let nobody come and talk of a political persecution, witch hunt, and all that about something that everybody witnessed. Of course, you know, in politics, people will not want to admit to the fact of tricks that could be so blatant being played against citizens and governmental institutions. But that is what we witnessed. Is anybody going to say that there was no insurrection on January 6th, 2020?
I mean, I guess they're going to say they were trying to reclaim the mandate.
Which mandate? That was lost?
That's more like
electoral loss. The guy lost the election. And this one that he has won fair and square, nobody is debating. But of course, you know, if he had, I mean, try and look at, reverse the roles, reverse wherever everybody stands concerning history on this. If Kamala had won, you think Donald Trump would not have been crying a blue mother?
Yep.
But people are who they are.
He was never going to accept defeat. That was part of the strategy.
Already he had set a narrative in motion before the whole thing. That's why somebody, I think a Nigerian content creator, that people thought, you know, he pulled a joke and people thought it was real, that two individuals, supposedly a couple, had a squabble over the whole election palaver. No, that's just a skit from a Nigerian comedian. But we can borrow something from that. I'm sure, according to that skit, the guy that created that content on social media, I'm sure Donald Trump himself must have woken up shocked that he won.
Right.
He probably was not expecting it.
Won.
You say?
I said, nonetheless, he won.
Yeah, and a lot of people who voted for him actually too were surprised that, oh, so this translated into something. So he actually won. Yeah, so this is this moment. This is this moment. He has good fortune to thank, and he should not pretend as if crimes were not committed. But who are we mere mortals? If the justices do not see anything wrong about
that. Ordinary Americans, who are we?
Yes. So who are we, ordinary Americans? We do not want to engage in any discussion that would be summarily, that would be interpreted summarily as what's it called, media lynch. No. And we cannot leave everything to posterity. That's my attitude about it. But to think that no crime was committed,
Mm-hmm.
well, you and I know that morality is not law. But anybody with a sense of shame, with court decency, will understand what happened. And that's one moment that called for honor. But honor was the first casualty, and where we are now. So we pray for the best concerning this land, its survival and its future. That's the most important thing. And I even love one thing from the administration. They said, whoever out there, members of the international community, leaders of various countries all over the world, that will want to seize on this moment to want to play the incoming administration against the outgoing one, should understand that America remains one. That's the most important lesson. Yes. So whether it is here or Nigeria, people should understand that institutions often endure and they transcend strong personalities or any cult movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As of about 40 minutes ago, I'm looking at the headline here on The Guardian. I think this is the England Guardian. It says Trump, China responds to Trump's tariff threats over fentanyl concerns. So, I mean, it's not just fentanyl, right? I think it's threatening them in every aspect. But the headline, hold on one second, let me turn that off. The headline in general is talking about, the threats against China, Mexico, and Canada with tariffs over opioids and immigration. So, what do you think is going to pull this off?
He may and he may not. But don't forget that Donald Trump describes himself as a deal maker, somebody who goes for deals. He may be setting up those narratives in order to achieve certain undisclosed objectives. When we get to that bridge, it's something we all will cross corporately, that is collectively. So, yeah, I cannot say that I can predict it. For example, the way he presented Matt Gaetz as the prospective Attorney General, and the way it looked like, he would stick out his neck for his confirmation. Look at the way when the guy finally decided to blow out, to withdraw from the entire confirmation process.
Wow. Yeah, well,
were you not shocked that Donald Trump easily concurred?
Do you know about the WWE lady?
Yes.
Is she still in or she's out too? Because there's a bunch of allegations against her too.
Well, it's something that is still trending there, but I would not be shocked if again these people decide to recuse themselves from the confirmation process. But the shocker there is that you see that Donald Trump is not even pulling any punch. If he was the person that was being exposed that way and there's been pilloried in the media and elsewhere within the caucus of Republicans, that he is going to grandstand. But as these people continue to just fall by the wayside, you don't see him betray any emotion. It's almost like he's agreeing that, that is fair enough.
Like, okay, all right.
Are you not shocked? That is complete. That is something that is diametrically in opposition to the personality of Donald Trump that we have come to know over the years.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
Everybody, please join the conversation. Thank you. Join the conversation. I know the hype is a little bit, but I don't think Donald Trump is going to cool off for for the next 4 years. So.
Oh yeah, but ordinarily you would now understand that probably he would use this second chance to consolidate his legacy, his political legacy. What he would want
Is
to
that a
be.
good thing or bad thing?
Well, I think he is trying to rehabilitate himself with the public.
Okay, let's hope for that, right? Let's pray for that. That I hope that means good for the nation. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and follow. We do have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's talk SEYI TINUBU. Let's talk about SEYI TINUBU, the son of present Nigeria President Tinubu. I guess they released some kind of documentary, But I'm going to read this report from GazetteNigeria.com. SEYI Tinubu's campaign team releases biopic ahead of 2027 elections. And I quote, "Who are these faceless people pushing SEYI Tinubu for Lagos governor? This is a needless distraction," said Mr. Igbokwe. Anyway, this has sparked some debate.
Which Igbokwe? Is it Chief Joe Igbokwe or who?
I can't tell. Maybe they will give me the full detail in a second. Let me see. So SEYI Tinubu, son of the president Bola Tinubu, has been tipped for the seat of Lagos governor in the 2027 governorship election. This was according to a video making the rounds on various social media platforms, which People's Gazette saw on Sunday. The video highlights the president's son biography, focusing on his education, career, humanitarian activities as a Nigerian. It also documents his involvement in youth development in the country. This biopic comes on the heels of some groups' endorsement of Mr. Tinubu's son as a potential successor of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in 2027. On Tuesday, the coalition of Nigerian youth leaders issued an endorsement in Owerri, Imo, suggesting that the younger Tinubu will be welcomed to contest the governorship seat in Osun or Imo. He was also endorsed by friends of SEYI, friends of SEYI, a group emphasizing his vision and intellectual wherewithal to govern the country's commercial nerve. APC chieftain Joe Igbokwe, however, described the deal of endorsement as a ploy to undermine the president in a Facebook post. And I quote, "Who are these faceless people pushing SEYI Tinubu for Lagos governor? This is a needless distraction," said Mr. Igbokwe. "To pull PBAT down is their target. Ruling Lagos is not the job of boys." Anyway, I wanted to know your thoughts about that.
So PBAT means President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to pull President Bola Ahmed Tinubu down.
PBAT. That's correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chief Joe Igbokwe, that is speaking there, is a well-known individual to many of us. Apart from being an APC chieftain himself, he's been with Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu since only God knows when. But the point I'm making is that he's a well-known quantity, and he was one Southeasterner, somebody of Igbo extraction that was well involved in the actualization of June 12 mandate of late Chief MKO Abiola. That said, and I've also met him in person before, and I know he stands for certain core principles, but knowing fully well that this is a major media operative for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself.
Yeah.
How about him trying to lessen the tension that could arise from what may already have been hatched and concluded within the caucus of the Bola Tinubu political machine? You get the point I'm making?
I get it.
All this,
Let's have it.
yeah. So the point I'm making is that could be true, may not be true, that the president knows nothing about it, or that it's something being, it's a ploy or a plot to discredit Bola Tinubu or frustrate his administration. Could be, and it may not be, because for the first time, or not the first time, remember how people like Daniel Kanu, etc., put together so-called 2 million man march for the late General Sani Abacha to transform into Nigeria's life president before the hand of fate struck and the man died in office.
Mysteriously.
You can't say there's no mystery about it. He died. That's what we know.
Nigerians would like to call it mysteriously.
There can't be mystery about that thing. There can't be mystery. But the answer, the clue to how he died, someday, if Nigerian past leaders want to do justice about it, they would it's something that they have to declassify. But the point we're making here is that if indeed it is true that SEYI Tinubu is being prepared for a takeover of his father's political structure in Lagos, or if he himself is the one that is rolling out the billions or millions for people to ask for him to be crowned the king of all in Lagos, that would be rather unfortunate, because here we're talking of democracy, we are not talking of dynasty.
Yeah.
We are trying to talk of the people's will as against an imperial gubernatorial.
But Chief, question, sir. Chief, question, sir. Who are you telling? Yes. Nigerians? That this is democracy, not dynasty? Are you telling Nigerians?
Well, Nigerians should know. They do. But, if this is going to be actualized, the way they do it, they would first have pauperized the people in Lagos. Hunger would have taught them shege. And then the heave of primaries and the election proper, billions will roll out, and then people will forget any attempt at political resistance or any credible debate, and then there will be a clean sweep.
Yeah,
and that indeed will be very, very tragic, because they should understand that Nigeria is not supposed to operate like a banana republic. Nigeria is not supposed to be same as a place like Equatorial Guinea, where you have a father being the president, son becoming the vice president, and then what other trinity arrangement do you need? Family, it will now become a family, a family thing. I do not understand. I thought democracy is supposed to give room for common people.
I mean, but what if he's actually competent for the job?
Well, then he should bring himself out to sell himself. But I think common decency would mean that what Yorubas often say, common decency. Do you understand the meaning of that proverb?
No, I just translate. Sorry.
If if an elephant it's not done. This thing that somebody, a father will be king, and then already people go around town saying "Kabiyesi" to the son, saying this is heir apparent. That is strange to African, to Nigerian, or let me say Yoruba tradition and culture, but all kind of strange things. Things that were that are rather unprecedented happen now, and who are we to say that the people would be discretionary how they welcome or dismiss, comical ideas like this. Of course, it's not going to be exclusively Nigerian. When Donald Trump had his first incarnation
let me
as
say
president in America, you saw the way his children were also running shows everywhere. So,
right. I think a decent, would you say, quickly, let's just round this up in 30 seconds. Would you say a decent sector of the youth, Nigerian youth, are excited about the possibility of this?
There's no way anybody will be, any so-called critical section of Nigeria, which one amongst them? For them to be excited about this is to also accept what will be questionable fatalism, that they too are not destined to evolve to something great. Should it be a family? Should it be a family arrangement? Any prospective Nigerian youth should discard that. I don't see any Nigerian youth being excited about this.
Okay, all right.
There can be no way for them to be excited about this. That is only the children of political elites that would be groomed and prepared for eternal succession. That cycle. So, what new thing can they, please, I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah, I just think, as we've always said, I'm just going to say this one last thing, right? As we've always said, poverty is being weaponized against the people too. So
that's it.
So they might be excited just because of, I'm talking about the average Nigerian kid youth now, not the elite.
It's unthinkable. But there have been, things have happened in Nigeria before too.
Yeah, like a Donald Trump winning presidency.
Not just that. For example, I give you one critical situation. That is, really opposite. When the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the well-known Chief Obafemi Awolowo, was leading and wanted to become the president, the president of Nigeria, the Platform of Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN. His son, the late the late Chief Oluwole Awolowo, who later became the publisher of his father's newspaper, Tribune Group, was voted into the House of Assembly in Lagos as I think he was representing Akpakpa. Yes, in the Second Republic, he was a member of the House of Assembly. So that will tell you why many of the Awolowos believe that they could be the direct successors to their father's political legacies. So if Tinubu is copying that example too, not that all of us.
All right, let me do a quick shout out to Miss Elizabeth Omotayo. Says congratulations to the newly elected president of America. Thank you, Jerry, my sister. Anyway, hit like.
Oh, okay. We join her in extending that congratulations to the newly elected president.
Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and follow. We have one more trending news around the world to address real quick. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play this this video, maybe even a couple of videos, but we're going to play this video of Davido. Davido is the Nigerian Afrobeat superstar, 001 of Nigerian Afrobeat. He had something to say about Nigerian economy. Economy in shambles. He was being dragged across the internet today. Woto. This is this.
It was like, so for if people want to leave America and like try to find those,
leave America and go where?
Back home.
Let's be honest. Go back where? It's not cool back home.
It's not.
Just, My country now is in the economy now is in shambles. Like,
but if people are leaving,
I do my part.
Yeah,
I'm an ambassador. So when I go home and I'm filming and showing, I'm not gonna show the bad parts. I ain't gonna show all the
You're
bad
not gonna
parts.
try to slum. You're not gonna show the trenches.
No, I go to the trenches.
Yeah.
I film the trenches, but I'm talking about the situation in the country.
Did he say it's from the trenches?
Be Nigerians, you know what I'm saying? Like now the exchange rate is messed up. The a lot of stuff not going well. You know what I'm saying? The economy is just not good anymore. The oil prices are too high. And imagine a country that produces oil. We produce the oil, and we pay more money for oil.
The question was like, so for if people want to leave America and like,
so that's that. Now there's been some lashbacks. You know, I mean, he did say God bless Nigeria after I was being dragged today, but there's a response from one of the ladies of Your View TV show on TVC that I think the one of them that wears hijab, I think her name is Akashat Imat, something like that. So I'm going to play that. Then I want to hear your thoughts on this. I also think, okay, before I go into that,
I have anyway. Let's hear her.
Yeah, before I go to her, right? Richard Doyle. Iriti Doyle's ex-husband, he had some very interesting word. This is what he said. He said, you have to be incredibly dense to ask foreigners not to visit a country where your father has a $2 billion power generation investment. Some persons ought to know much better. That's what Richard Doyle said. And then, but there's another man, a record executive called Ogapo Low. He said, please, we could not leave Davido alone. Mad people. Davido spoke the truth. Nigeria's current economic state is so bad, with global economies leaving and local businesses facing significant losses. It's clear we're facing challenges. Let's acknowledge the reality and work towards a better future. God bless Nigeria. Okay, so now I'm going to play...
I hope you are going to give me enough room to tackle all these people.
I got you.
Having this verbal diarrhea against this.
I got you.
Yeah, against this patriotic show.
Okay, listen to this.
Davido did something very responsible, and I stick to it. Davido is one of the privileged Nigerians who are dual citizens. He talks about.
By the way, if you missed what she said irresponsible. He did something irresponsible. I'm going to keep playing. That's what she said. Yeah, that's what she said. So just I wanted, because I know you almost sound like responsible, but that's not what she said. What she said is irresponsible. I'm going to play it.
Okay, so Davido did something very responsible, and I stick to it. Davido is one of the privileged Nigerians who are dual citizens. He talks about his Atlanta background a lot. Did he do a service to the Nigerian who doesn't have that privilege? No. Because that Nigerian needs an investor who would set up and create an enabling labor market that will give him life, that will empower him, that will employ him. What Davido has simply done is that when Asiwaju is taking a plane to country to look for the foreign investors that will come here, he has told them, don't come. Has he done a service to the average Nigerian inside Ede that does not know the royal family of Ede? Has he done a service to the Nigerians in Omaron, who is in the bush trying to get wood? Has he done anybody a privilege in the rice farms in Bida? No, he hasn't. He has spoken who's truth of the elites. The people who spend the dollars, 1 minute, not the people who buy beans per pinto. We know that the country is hard. We know that these reforms were forced on us because if we had continued to feed the elites, we would be worse off.
Yeah.
They had to take out subsidy, stop the payment. Allocation has increased to state governors, but we are not asking the governors.
No.
We have removed the supplement that we give to dollars so that we can buy it cheaply. We are now forced to buy it how we see it. And this is the real value. We are suffering under that weight. And what you can say is bad here. I think it's not bad. Did you hear the campaigns? During the elections, just the concluded election, did you hear the campaigns?
That's
of what the reality of America is. And Oprah would say it at elections, but she won't sit on a show or sit at a table and tell everybody, and tell a foreign interviewer what Davido did. And that's where it's wrong. Because you sat there, but now your reference point for whether they should go ahead and invest in the country. See, the point is, no matter how true your truth is, all your truth, if it's not going to be of service to your people, it's in the corridors where he could make that noise privately. But no, he chose to tell that person on it that America care, come where care. Whereas what we need is foreign investors. That's what our government has said we needed. Except Davido can show me 2-3 companies where he's producing beans, rice, the local food for the local man, so that he can be talking. Yes, we'll know what you're talking, but you're still talking amongst yourselves. We sit there and we allow our places of influence be where we advocate that is bad, it can never be good, it's worse. We condemn our own. So Davido is a person of influence and should be more guarded in his utterances, especially about the country that has given him that fame. Imagine that Davido started his music at career in the US. He'll be competing with the Americans. But now, because he started from here, when it became the time for Africa to be on the scene, they are collaborating with him. You don't throw where you are from in the pits. This is your source, and I'm just very disappointed. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you 7 minutes, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Number one, let me say that from the antecedents of this lady that just spoke, she's always in denial about reality. And what does she have to tell any true African that is not already colored from even her appearance? She's an Arabized Nigerian, and she will not know the truth of what the average Nigerian feels. And I say this with deep conviction because I also listened to her contribution when the video of Ebang from Equatorial Guinea, how she was playing earlier than that when our colleagues on that show said this is what was in the video that was that was circulating on the internet. She is always in denial about reality. Ebang, yes.
Yeah.
So she was in denial, and that's my point of departure about her. She has a way of stepping away from reality. What did Davido say that is wrong? You see, Davido has not played, contrary to what she said, that, that Davido had amplified the voice of elites in Nigeria, that they were the ones who were benefiting from subsidy and all whatnot, and that he should go, unless he opens a factory where beans and whatever. She herself that is talking as a privileged commentator with the view on the TVC. Lady of our view. On TVC's our view.
Your view.
Or your view, whatever she calls it, or they call it. Mm-hmm. Good program. I love enjoying them, but sometimes they do things that will tell you outrightly that they are acting out and speaking from the script of APC media wing. Simple.
That's it.
Otherwise, what did Davido say that is wrong? Is it? Is it not the truth? As a privileged child, Davido would have gone there, would have amplified falsehood, but he chose to be with the people of Nigeria. I don't know what he has done wrong. And to convince anybody, she can only talk like that when relating with the audience in Nigeria. She sounds like an incoherent and confused, mad black woman. That is what I can make of the way she has spoken. Now, you mentioned somebody that first said something. I forgot the wife of somebody.
Richard Doyle, the ex-husband of Ireti Doyle.
So what did he say there? Remind me, because he too missed the point.
Yeah, he said you have to be. Let me find it.
Whose father? Yes, dense. That somebody whose father invested $2 billion on power generation. You see, this is where people like this miss it, because the video is not behaving like the average child of the rich in Nigeria, who would want to just live on the legacy of their father. That the father owns that. Does it belong to Davido? Certainly not. The father, Baba Adeleke Senior, must have done that with, what's it called? The cooperation of other investors. That is their own purview. But Davido has been able to prove himself as a worthy young adult.
So Davido chose to speak for the people.
To speak for himself, for his generation.
For his generation.
This is
for the people, not just $2 billion.
So to now want to use his father's investment in Nigeria to flog him into cowardice, I think is totally irresponsible.
No, let me ask you this question, sir.
Yes.
What about the angle of selling your country short?
There's no way he has not sold Nigeria short. If we want to talk about the subject of investor, okay, I'm not even a rich man. All the money I took to Nigeria, I invested in a media center in Lagos. The one I did in Akure, Ondo State. What came out of it? So these people, if you have lost, yes.
And I want you to consider this suggestion. If I was a Davido, even as I am right now today, if I was on a global platform and I was asked a very tricky question like that, because I believe that the answer to that question is not exactly black or white, or whatever the question was, or whatever he was speaking to, wouldn't it be better to say, hey, listen, our country has a long way to go. There's mad, crazy opportunities coming to our country.
That is your own. That is your own well thought out. That's your own well thought out.
No, I didn't finish. I didn't finish.
Okay, finish.
But we have some challenges we're working through right now. But there's crazy opportunities coming up in Nigeria on a daily basis. What if wouldn't that be better coming from someone like Davido, someone of his status?
But what is the reality of Nigeria today?
I just said the reality. The reality is that there is hope for the future, but there are challenges. I just said the reality. It's just the way I worded it.
Well, for people who shoot straight, this your nicety, this your academic approach to the whole thing will not hold any water. I'm telling you, I've told you, even as a blind man, do you know how much I lost in Nigeria? Do you know relationships? Relationships that got destroyed because of that?
No, but the thing is that we're trying to change those reality. In order to change those reality, you have to attract investors. You have to attract good eyes. You don't push people away from it.
How about all the investments that have been coming, all the loans that came into the country? What do they translate into in terms of infrastructural development there?
We can make an argument that we keep doing straight shooters. That's why it keeps happening. We can create an argument around that. We keep doing, let's just call a spade a spade. We don't know how to sell. We don't know how to sell. We can make an argument.
But that is not same thing as, I mean, in the context of what Davido said. Davido has been a good brand for Nigeria. He's been a good ambassador for Nigeria. Now that he decides to to queue behind the poor, the suffering masses of Nigeria, he suddenly became a bad son for Nigeria. I do not agree with that. And something is really paining. Wait. There is something that is what's it called? That is putting so much anger in. And you need to listen to all these people. I mean, between the lines, what they said.
I've
not made my point. I've not made my point. For these people who are reacting this way, you must interpret what they say between the lines, or just listen to them. They are so angry about
I don't agree with them either. They
They are angry about his dual citizenship. The same way they will be angry about your own dual citizenship. The same way they will be angry about my dual citizenship. Who cares? These people, they have always taken everything at our expense. And if this is one opportunity we have, honestly, like,
so I don't think we have
wait. Honestly, like Jason Wike will tell them, they should go and hug Transformer. In fact, she can go and be doing a ablution and whatever she's doing in front of a moving trailer. We don't care. These people don't care about the poor in Nigeria. So, and then for APC Media Wing to want to just rent the hair and file it just because a promising youth has spoken the mind of the majority of Nigerians.
Chief.
Long live Davido.
Chief, this is how Donald Trump won. This is how Donald Trump won.
How?
Okay, all right.
By selling,
we can't be emotional about this stuff, and if other people are being emotional, we don't have to stoop to that level. I don't agree with Richard Doyle, because I actually left a comment on the post that I saw that Baba, you can also correct in love, Sha. It must be dense and all that. All that is not necessary. And I agree with you that
these are people that are so hungry. They want to hold the place hostage, and when they see people break away from their grip and their hold, they are locked down.
Wait. I also agree with you that did not need to go the dual citizen shaming.
Don't mind her.
All that is not necessary. But I'm saying, when you say economy in shambles, or we are dealing with some challenges in our economy today, for a Davido or anybody who is powerful, who has a voice, those carry two different meanings.
Well,
dictionary meanings, you're right, but they carry two different meanings.
Either connotatively or denotatively, he has spoken. And I
know that I'm correcting him in love now. Correct in love, right? There's a way he should say this.
Ordinary folks would also be angry with you. What is the love you want to show concerning? Okay, don't let me talk too much. Because
I will collect 4,000 naira for votes. I'm talking about selling, continue to do the work he's been doing. He's doing a great job selling Africa. I'm talking about continue to do that in good. Like, he knows how to do that in music, sweet music. Okay, now when you talk on a global stage, there's a way you talk.
Don't do now. All do not do now. They will put that boy's name on their so-called watch list.
Who will do that?
Isn't that what they do?
No, these have no power now. That Baba has no power.
Baba, you are looking at them as people without power. I'm telling you of the APC Media Wing. You are talking, which power don't they have? They set the narrative before their political principles before they take action. This is the way they always behave.
No, you might be right. You're talking about how they decided to respond to actual words that came out of Davido. You're right.
Yeah.
You might be right about that. I'm talking about Davido's responsibility before we get to the responses.
His responsibility is not to represent us, to sell falsehood. So you want him to go out there and encourage people to take their. Please, I don't want to talk too much. It will look like I'm venting my personal anger, and I have the right to be angry when I've lost so much money and relationships.
But I have questions. I have questions.
Yes.
If I say we're dealing with some challenges in our economy in Nigeria right now, do you consider that falsehood?
It is not falsehood, but at two instances, who is to get? Is it not self-inflicted? Who inflicted it on Nigerians?
No, that's not the question. That's another conversation.
We all must embrace these days. You know, politicians are so deft, they are so crafty about causing problem, and then they turn around and pretend to you that they are looking for the solution to what they cause themselves.
Davido has an uncle who is a politician governor in Osun State. What I'm saying is that maybe that's the problem.
But he did not start this.
No, what I'm saying is that we do a terrible job at selling ourselves. That is the greatest skill in the world. We do. It's not about the truth. We must tell the truth. We know how to tell truth in Nigeria, and we pray the most.
All right, okay. On that note, I allow you to win that argument, that aspect. But concerning the fact that we must package and wrap up lies and falsehood about what we know is gede already.
No, you don't have to package lies, but you have to package. You don't have to package lies, but you have to package the
I don't let me begin to look at you as the master of a double talk right there. You want us to package something? You have to say it's not packaging. What is that to do? I mean, what don't you see the message that is good?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. The shirt you're wearing right now is nicely put together. You look beautiful. You look handsome.
When it's taken off, I will look like something else.
No. That's not the point. You know when they say,
yes.
When they say you don't, when people say I don't look, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. Right? Imagine you want to tell the truth about what you've been through, and then you decide to dress accordingly. Just imagine that. That's what we're talking about. This is not packaging lies. This is a matter of how you see the world. It's a matter of outlook on life.
That's right. You convinced me right there. That's okay.
He said, I'm joking a little bit, but there's some serious stuff there. And the people need to learn how to do that because he has the power of that tongue.
In short, what you're saying is that he must learn to appreciate that the cup can always be half full. It's okay.
Yes. His body language, actually, to me, his body language spoke more of ignorance more than he's telling the truth. Everybody knows.
Yeah, notwithstanding, that is not why, I mean, that shouldn't be a basis for this crowd of Jerusalem to launch after him that he should be crucified. No.
Nigerians are going to come for me in this comment on this topic. Anyway, it's okay.
Well, who cares whether they come or they do not?
You sit there in America, you're running your mouth. You see, that's what they're going to tell me on this one.
You know, but if we had the opportunity of extending to them the grace of coming over pronto, wouldn't they want to jump on the next available flight? So that is why I said these people are belly aching. It's bad belly now. And we cannot all sit down there and just die in our mystery. We've been through so much to have there.
Anyway, the final of this is that he actually came back later on after they dragged him woto. He said, God bless Nigeria. So everybody should just rest, okay? Because he said, God bless Nigeria now. You know,
good for.
Shout out to Davido. He does a good job at selling Nigeria. It's just this one.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Anyway, everybody, thank you. I think we finished very strong today. Help us share, like, subscribe, follow everywhere. We appreciate you for being here as usual. Next week is going to be another one. But
happy holiday to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving for those of us in America. And see you on the next one. Take care and God bless. Cheers.